It's the Traumedy Podcast. Trauma plus comedy equals Traumedy. This week on Traumedy.
Have there been any success stories of being part of the resistance?
Right.
And how can I be effective, from what you've learned? I mean, obviously, my job as a clown, I am on stage all the time. And my message, I'm going to say it because I really do believe, the Bible says, love thy neighbor as thyself. And I am just coming to reality, the reason we don't love our neighbors is because we do not love ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm doing in this trauma therapy is finally loving myself for the first time in my life. And now I do have the capacity to love my neighbor and everyone. So that's what I feel like the real work, the real activism would be to love yourself deeply and integrate your shadow, integrate those exiled parts, because then you won't project them out onto the orange overlord or ICE or anybody else.
My extension of loving yourself is loving yourself so much that you tell your story and tell your beliefs and
speak your authentic truth.
Yes, and that's my whole job is helping people just be authentic, not afraid to be themselves.
I know.
Right? And so that to me is mine to do. Like we were saying, what's mine to do? Mine is to remind people that, this is wrong and I'm going to speak up.
You're listening to Traumedy, the podcast that helps you take your pain and play with it. I'm Nancy Norton. I am a former nurse, comedian, and keynote speaker about the power of humor, why we need it, how it helps us.
Bring the power of humor to your next event with award-winning comedian Nancy Norton. Nancy got out of healthcare for the same reason a lot of people get into it, to save lives. Message Nancy at nancynorton.tv. The Traumedy Podcast is sponsored by Crybaby Badass. You have to feel it to heal it. You are a Crybaby Badass luminary. See your light in the mirror. Do you have a trauma? Hey, you listening, do you have a traumedy story to share? If so, send Nancy a message at nancynorton.tv.
This is a very good episode. Every episode is so good. I love my job. I love my calling. This is a calling, as you know. I cannot not do Traumedy because I need these conversations. I hope by listening in, you get a little something from them as well. I really am learning from every guest some coping skills or some inspiration and always something funny every single time. And this is a mental health podcast. So keep breathing. Know you're not alone. If you want to find a comedy show or to connect with me, go to my website, nancynorton.tv. Everything is there. Welcome to season 4 of Traumedy. Wow, that went fast. How are you hanging in there? I've been struggling this year with the news and the regime, let's just say. I cannot even pretend that I don't have an opinion about ICE and about what happened to Renee Good, and it's been extremely upsetting what's going on, not just to her, but around the country. People's constitutional rights are being violated. People are being kidnapped without due process. I'm very upset. I'm very concerned, and I'm asking what is mine to do. Yes, take action. Ask your higher power, what is mine to do about this? And let's do our best to honor that. And for me, humor helps me stay recharged and gives me a break. And I hope that you find that I hope this helps you stay the course and stay alert and not to check out. It's very tempting to just not look at what's going on in the world right now. And of course you need breaks. I heard someone else say something about working in shifts, and just know that you've got to take breaks. You've got to take care of yourself, and we have got to use our humor. Otherwise, the toxic stress hormones will kill you, and we need you. So stick around and laugh with us, and I'll see you on the other side. Welcome to Traumedy. My guest this week is a good friend, an amazing creator, a teacher.
Thank you.
The joke mentor.
The joke mentor, yes.
And has a fabulous one one-person show called
Lost and Found.
that we are going to get on Netflix. I am manifesting.
Yes.
Everybody visualize.
Nancy's doing the majority of the manifesting, and I accept that. And yes, thank you for being the biggest cheerleader. It's so much work. If I just
I know it is.
would do it more, but yeah.
I still haven't said your name. Welcome, Christie Buchele.
Hi, hello, it's me. You read it. You read it on the thing. They didn't go in blindly, no description.
Yeah.
They can figure it. But
They will
here I
figure
am.
it out. But I just want to say out of the gate right now, because I want this to be kind of the theme, is that we're creating our lives, even though there's chaos going on all around us.
They're everywhere you go.
We can create our lives. And I love your one-person show. I think other people need to see it. I just think it's important to get it out there. It has so many important themes. The themes that I know that I take away from it are living with a disability in a way that I don't think has been shared before, about body autonomy, especially for children with special needs, children with disabilities that end up going through surgeries they may or may not have consented for. And then the other kind of dual theme is narcissist abuse and transcending that so you can get back to your beautiful life. Here we are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're getting back to our beautiful life right now.
We are trying to get back to our beautiful life, And I think those are probably the two bigger themes. And I think part of it also is taking your power back and taking back what you have lost.
Lost and found.
Whether it is like that bodily autonomy, whether it is the, from narcissistic, that's such a damaging dynamic that so many people are in. Especially when you grow up in it, you don't even know you have to even learn that it's abuse and not normal to start with, let alone trying to get everything back. And most of my show came through my doing MDMA therapy, which we've done.
Yes, we do.
Not together, but we should. No.
That would be cool. We'll do that on an episode.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, we both have done that with a wonderful trauma therapist. And I was telling her last time, and I just did another session on the 23rd of December, and I was saying, look at the ripple effect that you've had. Like she's, when we heal ourselves, we heal others, and we've both brought other people to her. And just knowing that the resource, I don't understand all the ways that it works, but we do know that, for me anyway, it helps integrate these parts of ourselves that we've either exiled. A lot of people are doing parts work right now, or the shadow work, and just also the traumas that we've buttoned down and put away in a compartment and have kind of been running our lives around them.
Right.
And these survival traits. So anyway, it's amazing work. I feel like it's like a few years of therapy in a one-day session.
Yeah, I always think because with integration, it's about like a 3-week process usually, but I think it's like 3 years of therapy in 30 days is what I like to tell people. And the medicine is what, the therapy does the work. The medicine just allows your brain to, or makes it so that your brain will not disassociate, so that the therapy can do the work.
So that you don't have those blocks in there compartmentalized.
Because our brains are so good at trying to keep us safe. And they've learned to disassociate around pain. And dissociate. Sorry, somebody recently corrected me and was like,
"Oh, really?" So was it disassociate versus dissociate?
Yeah,
I say dissociate, but I hear a lot of people say disassociate.
Well, it's not disassociate; it's dissociate. Anyways, our brains are so good at that.
Yeah,
and then
and compartmentalizing too. I mean, maybe those are one.
I think it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, distancing.
Yeah,
And then that survival, so much of my recovery work is about unlearning those survival traits that are no longer serving us. So that's the thing. These dissociations, compartmentalizations, whatever they are, they served us at a time when we were vulnerable and we powerless and we were trapped with our family of origin. We were too young to leave.
Yeah.
And I mean, now it's like, okay, I have a choice. And you start seeing how they damage relationships. So I'm loving, like you and I are both talking about this lately, how we want to build relationships with, especially with females.
Yes.
Right now, I identify as a she, they, but I'm definitely a female, and I'm definitely into the divine feminine energy of the universe. And I mean, I like the masculine energy too. I take, as you know, estrogen and testosterone for balance. Yeah. But yeah, that we want to build friendships and sort of community with women.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I'm just learning to decenter men, and that's probably been the biggest thing that I didn't even know was a thing, and I didn't even realize. We're going to talk about history today, but I went to school for a history major, and it did not occur to me like how much we're talking about men. Like, it really didn't.
Oh, I know. And even this country has never had a female president. Like,
yeah,
the fact that it is a patriarchy, you know it, you hear about it, but then when you really get it, like, wait a second.
Yeah. But that goes all the way down to just like your day-to-day life. And it's so weird because I had certain aspects of, like, we're not thinking about the traditional gender norms just because my parents were divorced. So I was raised by my dad mostly. And so that part felt like not traditional gender norms all the time. But then there's still, we would be considered, I think, just like a military family, or people who are like very patriotic. And that is all based in, nationalism is kind of based in patriarchy a lot of the time. So we do.
Yeah. The patriarchal model of us versus them, and the protector.
Yes.
And
we got to keep out the enemy, and we got to watch our back, and we got to,
It's a lot. It is interesting. I've been saying in my act a lot about, I've tried to bring this country back together again. It's not going well. And then I do talk. I mean, sometimes I think I'm not going to do this anymore. But I say, I am a vegetarian. I march for peace. But if the shit goes down, I'll be hiding behind my brother's gun safe, eating a squirrel. Mm-hmm. And that, I feel like it's a way of unifying people. Like, okay, we need the protectors, we need the nurturers. And I think to some degree that's true, but I don't think at this point in my life I will be going to my brother's house hiding behind the gun safe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Never say never. If the Civil War breaks out, will we go, like you're talking about, your dad's got this house kind of off the grid.
Yeah, he built a house off grid when Biden became president so that he could Denver also grew an amazing amount. This is where we're from. We're from Colorado, and that is it was a cow town, and it has grown to a level that if that's not what you want, like it was a harsh, big change. So I think part of him was just like, oh, I want to be not around so many people, not traffic, that kind of thing. But I think he just got it. And he's also an amazing builder. Like, my dad is a genius as far as when it comes to like structural design and building a home. And that's where he really shines. And so, he wanted to build a home off grid so that it's not as reliant on systems, not like systems keeping everything together. I think that was just a fun project for him. And they're like a little bit of a romantic idea of having your own land and being able to live no matter what.
Yeah. But lately, you and I were just talking yesterday at length, since your dad is politically opposite you,
yes.
Is that a place where you would feel safe or want to go to seek refuge now if, I don't know, the Civil War broke out? Like, that's, because we're all I'm looking at moving out of the country or moving into also a place like that. Our friend Tobias Livingston, and I need to upload those videos.
To Toby.
Yeah, I need to upload those videos of him showing how to basically homestead, and also he builds tiny houses, and he just messaged me a couple days ago about, where do you want to do land? I got this idea. So I'm looking at all these ideas about
for sure
whether I need to leave the country, A, B, find a place off the grid, or do a little of both, just having escape plans.
Yeah.
So what's going up for you now after talking with your dad?
Yeah, so that's why we were wanting, because we were it just is a weird time, because it literally feels like in the last 2 weeks with Minnesota and the rainy goods situations, things have amplified to a level we have not seen. And so, and I've been asking everybody, like, am I the only one that's feeling like this? And people have been saying no, like it feels different.
Absolutely. You
all
can
of a
tell by the
sudden.
reels. I've been doom scrolling for hours, and
Yeah.
I've got to break this habit.
Yeah.
I am trying to see, okay, what is mine to do? And that's what we were going to talk about a little bit. Like, I do this bit, where I'm reading World War II novels right now because I want to be prepared and I want to be part of the resistance.
Yeah.
And then you were sharing with me about another person. But so I brought up two subjects. One, at least two. But one is about your dad.
Yeah.
How here you are, a very educated. You studied history. That
Yes.
was your specialty.
I'm a licensed teacher in the state of Colorado to teach secondary history, like middle school and high school history.
You're very knowledgeable,
And
you have pieces of that are beautiful in your play, which we won't go into right now. But I mean, I love that scene that you talk about from World War II.
That was my it's not even World War II. Like,
it's World War I.
It was World War I, but World War I is just World War II. They just had an intermission. It's not. There's nothing different. They are the same. Like, they all lead. Like, I'm so interested in what leads to the rise of fascism, right? So it's not even like once it's here, it's like now it's not as interesting to even study. I'm looking at like, I know a decade before, and I've been watching this for, since I was 15 on a Tuesday on September 11th. So,
so you've been seeing patterns.
Yeah. So, and it's been an interesting, and I remember at that time, I don't even know if I had an opinion on George Bush or Gore. That didn't really, we weren't people who talked about that stuff a lot. And then
you were pretty young.
I mean, I was 15. And then I do remember the next year when we were when I was 6, or I might have been 16. I can't remember. But anyways, I just remember the next year we had a blizzard here in Colorado, right when they did shock and awe. So we were locked in the house, kind of like COVID style. Like, literally, it was like the worst snow I remember ever having in Colorado in my life, and we literally had a week off from snow and then a week off for spring break. It was like the exact same time. And I just remember us watching the bombs fall. Like, they televised it to us and thinking like, oh no. So,
and there were no weapons of mass destruction.
There were no,
And Osama bin Laden didn't even live in Iraq.
No.
There was so much going on right then.
Right.
Cheney pulling the strings.
People were in a trauma response. They really were in a trauma. Like, even our government was in a trauma response as far as the right to use force. It was just like the Gulf of Tonkin resolution.
Unless you believe the people that say that our government orchestrated the whole thing.
Sure.
And I have to say, I have seen a lot of the footage of those buildings collapsing, and I am not typically
if
a
we
conspiracy.
did, I don't think it was Congress that did it. I'm saying the people who voted to give him power to take whatever means necessary when it comes to terrorists, which is already a concept and not a measurable thing, that has been in effect since the week of 9/11. Essentially, there was only one woman who said no, and she got death threats, and she saw where it was going, which was that we're giving the president too much power.
Yeah.
So,
wow. So ever since then, you've been sort of watching these patterns because of just who you are. You've always been curious and probably studied.
Yeah, I've
history.
always been autistic, I think. I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
I think I really am.
Even if you haven't been tested,
you are seeing... tested. I'm just...
You're starting to...
I can't even
It's starting to make sense.
now.
It's starting to make sense that you're on the spectrum and that you hyper-focus on things. Is that what the piece of it is?
I think it is. I just will see patterns immediately, and I will... but I'm just constantly... And part of it could also be a trauma response. You're scanning for patterns for safety, but I do think my brain just does that...
Okay.
Automatically,
So bringing us to current here, the thing I was curious about with your dad, when you think strategies or with your history of knowing some resistance
so
people? What kind of
that's why, because you were asking, because you were like, what do people do? And that's why we kind of got on this, is because I don't think that my job is going to be to run and hide. My car, even if I wanted to go to my dad's house, my car does not even, I need a new head
not
gasket.
make it that far.
So it doesn't even.
And then you're talking about your legs can't run.
I can't run. Like, mine to do is to speak up until they kill me, really. I mean, that's how I'm trying to get comfortable with that situation, because I think that is the choice. I mean, you don't have as many options. I just don't feel like I have these options to run and hide and like try to survive, nor the will, honestly.
I love your joke that you told me about. Okay, thinking about getting a gun. Like, I will say, I have my son, I've always said I don't want any guns in this house ever. And now, before he turned 21, he got his concealed carry, and as far as I know, he doesn't have a gun. But I'm open to negotiating that now. Yeah. I know I should never have a gun because I'm impulsive. I have ADHD, and that is like, I don't trust where I'm going to shoot that. I can't text correctly. I can't put my thumb on the right letter, or the foot on the right step, or I spill my drinks all the time. So that being for me, not buying a gun.
And I think I'm just sensory-wise, I'm too jumpy. You shouldn't be having a gun if you're kind of a jumpy person.
But you said you're thinking about getting a gun.
So I was like, the joke is I was thinking about getting it. And I really do. I'm like, God, it just seems like I don't know what to do at this point. And so I was saying, the joke is that it's time liberals, it's time for liberals to get guns. It's time. We got to do it. Don't say it too loud or excited around your Republican family, though, because they'll get too jazzed about it. Like, if I mentioned it around my dad, he would go, "Oh, awesome! Yeah, let's go to the gun range. We can practice shooting." And then I would have to be like, "Oh, we don't have to practice. I don't need to practice my aim. I know where my mouth is."
I've been laughing about that for 3 days.
Because it's true. I think if I got a gun, it would just to have that single bullet, so that.
Just to have control.
Yeah.
So, I get that. If they're coming to beat down your door. I mean,
I don't want to go into I don't want to go into a concentration camp and survive. I'm like, nope,
even like you were saying,
just do a scratch. Let's start over. Like,
reincarnate, because we believe in reincarnation.
Yeah.
I get it. Well, I mean, we are definitely not encouraging people to eat a bullet. However, it's a normal thought. Like, one of the biggest laughs I got recently was at, and it was a one-time thing. I wasn't a bit I'd been working on or anything. It was just a free-flowing thought about, I don't remember what the whole premise was, but it was in front of Benny Feldman's audience, who are typically neurodivergent. He has Tourette's, and a lot of steampunk folks in the audience, I'm going to say that, and a lot of non-binary folks like me I saw, and I just really felt, oh my God, I felt so like I vibed with this audience.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which probably tells me I also need to get tested. But the point is, I was just saying, I don't know, or maybe just walk into the woods in the winter and curl around a trunk of a tree. And that popped. And I'm like, yes, okay, so that means other people are also like, plan A, somehow we start the revolution and things get better. B, we take up arms, we protect, I don't know, or leave the country. Or we just reincarnate.
So we have fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And I choose death.
Well, there's faint. So faint is this close to death, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a long faint.
It's a faint. Is that faint?
Faint's one of the F's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is like a freeze, really, isn't it? Or is that a different one?
No, faint is actually fainting. Like, it's actually unconscious. Yeah. Like, freeze is you're still in there, but you're sort of way back inside.
See, I do this is another joke I've been doing, but I call it frozen, which is actually just it's Disney adult. It's in a Disney adult. You're constantly looking back, going, where could we have done this? But like, why? How do we get here? Why is this? If we could just go back to my child, we can go back and change it, right? But it really took me until I did our drama therapy to hit that, like, oh, you're never going to be able to go back and fix it. And it actually didn't occur to me until I was 35.
Well, but maybe there is something in reincarnation, because I often think when I'm small again, or when I'm young again, and then I really have to remind myself, oh, wait, this is it, Nance. At least in this incarnation, these bags are saying this is it.
Yeah.
So when you do the Frozen thing, what are you saying?
I'm saying that we can't let it go. That's the song from Frozen. Let it go, let it go. We can't let it go. We're constantly looking back, going like, how did we get here? What happened?
Yeah.
And thinking, and I think when it is sort of, I do get in a loop, like a trauma loop.
Yeah.
And that is an autistic trait of like, you're constantly trying to solve the puzzle.
Yeah.
And you're trying to solve it. Like, how did we get here? What went wrong?
Yeah.
I think that trauma response again makes you realize that you can't actually solve it. There's no going back. And I have a hard time with that.
We have to go through it. Yeah. I was seeing a reel yesterday, and I don't know if I sent it, because a lot of times I'll send them to you. This one was the nerdy brother that's usually on the computer, that she's like, what's going on? And this time he was on the couch with his hands on his eyes, and he was saying he watched a knitter who sees cult patterns. And that,
yes, the cult lady.
Okay, I haven't seen her.
Yeah, I've read her book, actually. Some people don't like her. I've heard different things, but I've read her book. She's interesting because she grew up in a religious cult, and then she in South America and experienced.
She's a knitter?
Yep.
The knitting cult lady.
Yep, and she has a book called Uncultured, and she joined the military, and then she realized the military is a cult.
Oh, of course it is.
Yeah.
I mean, of course it is.
Well, yeah, they are literally, I think they use the term brainwashing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, my ex-husband was in the Marine Corps, and he told me some of the stuff from boot camp, and it is a major brainwashing. But I was, something gave me hope, and I thought, I want to go look at her reel, because she was just saying she's seeing that the cult leader is falling apart.
Yeah.
So, and that, in our mind, is the Orange Overlord.
Yeah.
Sometimes don't really like to use his name. But
he could appear in the mirror if we say it too many times.
So where are we? I know.
Especially the bathroom, because he's always shitting his pants.
On the golden toilet.
Yeah.
So back to, first of all, there's the resistance piece.
Yes.
Okay, we got the fight, flight, freeze, fawn, faint. Okay, so the flight for me is going to British Columbia or Belize, can't decide. Fight is to
get a gun and you're gonna, running. I mean, flight is flee, but there is a flee, fight, sort of survive. Like,
is there a
aspects.
dance? I feel like I want to dance.
Usually goes fawn and freeze go together, and fight or flee kind of go to. You tend to like do one. One is sort of like
there's two toggles.
One is like one's like an action based, and one's more of a stay put. Stay quiet, stay safe.
I want to warn. I like this one reel I saw recently where people are now warning their neighbors about ice by using their remote on their car, like setting off the horns, so that they're not out there where they could get shot or taken away, which is pretty cool.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, I do want to be part of helping. You see all the memes like what you would have done during World War II, you're doing now.
Yeah.
And then I saw that meme. It's like, it wasn't the ICE guys. It wasn't the Gestapo. It was the milkman. It was the neighbor who got converted and turned you in. Yeah,
that was a big class that I took. It was called Hitler's Germany, which was about how did he take them from just people just like you and me to like where they got. Right. Yeah. And it really is, it's so fascinating that we weren't planning on talking about the Epstein files. However, fascism grooms their victims, if you will, the same way that a pedophile grooms children, like where it starts off small and little things and slightly inappropriate. And then once that's normalized, then they push further and it never
You just
stops.
get more and more desensitized and also want to please them. Yep. You get some sort of reward, like you're a good girl, you're a good guy. Like you use the term a victim, obviously, with the victims of pedophiles. But so are you thinking of ICE agents? Are you thinking of Gestapo as victims?
I'm just saying I'm just saying the German culture just Germany as a society was a victim of targeted manipulation techniques. And they, even more than us, I mean, I almost don't we don't have an excuse because we have such a clear example with primary resource documents and stuff. But like they didn't have the internet, they didn't have old wars, they didn't have you couldn't study like this stuff that way, and so and it's been drilled in us. Don't forget the Holocaust, so that this could never happen again, and yet
here we are.
So, and I do find it just so I think that that's fascinating because, most people were not Nazis, like actually in the Nazi party, which is true. Most people are not MAGA. Like they wouldn't consider themselves MAGA. It is only about 15% of the population that would think and not Nazi and MAGA, like truly would identify as that. But like 22% of the people alive today in America voted for Trump. That's not as many as it feels like all the time, which is helpful to me. I'm always like, it's not 50%. He didn't win 50% of everyone.
Just that vote.
22.
If you believe the vote, which is a whole nother topic.
Yeah, we don't have.
I'm over here. Yeah, we don't have time to go into that.
I'm getting blue pilled every day. It's my only hope. But
but what I was thinking with your dad, you also have talked about like he didn't used to be like this.
Yeah,
because
let's give the audience a little bit of background too. Because my dad is he is MAGA, like he is, and it's been hard. And we have had.
He seems more MAGA today than ever.
Yes.
I mean, what I just heard you
happened.
Share. Yeah.
Yes. So what happened is like he started getting louder, and then I commented on something on Facebook and said like, "Oof, this is really disappointing." And then we got in a huge fight, like public fight. This is 2016 that I'm even talking about. This happened.
Okay.
And then, or 2017 it would have been. And then, and so we have been very careful about we're not.
Don't comment on each other's threads.
We're not commenting on each other's stuff. We're not going to do that because it's only going to hurt our relationship. And I mean, I wasn't really. That was his request. After that, not mine. You can comment on my stuff. I have no problem
because you can debate it. You can defend it.
Yeah,
I just mean you're not going to shy away from an argument.
Right.
I like a good argument if the goal is to come to some kind of truth.
Right.
Like I'm open, like you are saying, I'm open to moving.
So, and then, I mean, it really went down during Biden because you don't have somebody inciting fear and anger at a constant level like we do right now.
Yeah.
It was a little bit, of course, but it was just so much less. Like I almost wish that they had done daily blood pressure readings of the country, honestly.
Both sides.
Yeah. Just.
But your dad hates Biden with all his.
Right. But I don't. Yes. Agreed.
So his blood pressure went up. Yours went down.
Yeah. I see, but I don't. Yes, maybe. But I think that there was a concerted effort to not give Trump the mic for a while, even especially with Fox News getting in so much trouble for supporting his big lie and them having to pay so much money. And that was when it was the best, when they were almost ready to start being like, hey, maybe we shouldn't just blindly, go this route. And then, obviously once the election cycle started up, it really ramped up against Biden. And then but I don't know, like maybe, but he said he was doing it to being quieter for my sake. And I was like, thank you, I guess. I'm not on Facebook that much anymore. But I was feeling really, immediately sort of like, oh, everything's ramped up, right? Everything has ramped up recently with the Renee Good situation. And I posted a video that was a combat veteran that his wife actually recorded it and posted it because she was so taken aback that he was showing so much emotion. He was in Iraq and Afghanistan. He saw ISIS in action and said that it looks the same as what ICE is doing to people on the street. And he was like tears in his eyes, really upset.
And this is what he fought against.
Yeah.
And so a lot of, and now there aren't very many World War II veterans alive.
There's not
a handful, but they also would be saying the same thing. And you had a grandfather that was in World War II who
Yeah.
did not like Trump or something.
And he was a lifelong Republican, and he thought Trump was a disgrace, disgust, like he was
and
disgusted.
that brings us to the current post where you were
And so I
sharing that.
posted, and I said I think my grandfathers would have felt this way. And then my dad really, that triggered something, and he really went after me at that point.
Yeah, on your page, in your post, in your thread.
Yeah.
He was extremely unkind, in my opinion. I was mad because you had to talk me off a ledge because I was like, I'm going to say something.
Yeah,
You're like,
and I was
Nance,
like,
don't. So I was like, okay, I don't have to fight your fights, but man, I wanted to.
It was, it took
I wanted
me back.
to defend you.
It took me back.
And also, I wanted to
hard
shame
because-
him. I'll be honest. I wanted to shame. As a mother, as a parent, talking about your own daughter in the way he did, I wanted him to know how that's not what we do as parents. I was wanting to.
Well, speak for yourself.
Obviously. Obviously.
But no, I didn't, because we had I thought, if I really think about it, because I'm like, I don't know how much I was thinking about them seeing it. I really wasn't thinking, but I do think my hope was that they would stop, pause, and think about. They don't have to agree with me. I just thought they might ask themselves that question.
Take a moment.
What would they think? What would a person who's actually seen war firsthand think about this? Because that's why I point them out, is because they were both combat. They were one was in Korea, one was in World War II, Korea and Vietnam. I thought that would appeal to them, if nothing else, is an active duty military member who was in a war.
Yeah, and we're seeing combat veterans all over the place who are against what ICE is doing right now, which is against the Constitution, taking people without due process.
Yes. So, that was my hope, was that they would just maybe think, I don't know if they have thought about it, and I don't even know if my at least the one that we were fighting about, and he died after 9/11. But before the bombs dropped, my grandpa Buchele, before shock and awe, but in that period of time. So we saw his concern about 9/11 in the direction, but we never got to see, the modern era, essentially, like what he would have thought about it. And so I think it does build a lot of insecurity in people. I mean, I must have hit an insecure point or just a pride point or something. But I do think that if you have been in war, you are thinking about these soldiers, like the front line, and the people on the front line, and the people actually standing, near a gun and on the bad end of a gun, no matter what side that is. I do think you will put that into perspective sooner, in that, because you
would have empathy,
right? And it feels like
that's real.
Yeah.
The realness of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, he, unfortunately, what you learned is that he was more ensconced in the MAGA movement, very anti-trans, very, didn't even believe that there had been any convictions of these felonies.
Yeah, when I was like, he's a felon, and he was like, he's only been indicted, he was not convicted, and I was like, oh my God, it's so much worse than I thought.
That's that. And here you are, so educated about the war, and then the things he was calling you. I'm so upset because it's absolutely backwards. He's the ignorant one. But now, because you and I have had this discussion where you're like, well, I know I could always go to my dad's, but does that feel like an option now?
I mean, that feels...
I guess for survival, I don't know. Would your survival?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing, is because it is so far removed from society is the reason why it would still be an option, I think.
That'd be such a interesting thing to...
Yeah. But it's really tough. It's really tough because once fascism comes in and people have to start turning you over to stay safe themselves, you don't know. You just don't know who to trust at this point, because that is where we're we're already there.
Well, because
they're asking white people to turn over their brown neighbors.
And you and I would have been rounded up. You have a disability. Yep. The people with disabilities were rounded up.
First ones.
and then the queers, and
Yeah.
yeah,
And
the
yeah,
Jews.
I think that the biggest thing is just the most alarming thing was that, and this was a Nazi Germany thing, and it's always they're not the only ones. I mean, if we want to go back, Hitler actually learned everything on how to take care of the Jews from how America treated the Native Americans. He loved Westerns and cowboys, and he learned everything from us. The way that they just dehumanize their opponent or their perceived enemy is wild. I mean, and my dad, even something that he said in the messages was, "You're like an animal waiting, waiting for us to say something so you can attack." And that was maybe the most disturbing. Like, I'm like, oh, he doesn't. That's where it's like, oh, maybe I don't feel safe because he is buying into the narrative that we're not even human.
Yeah,
And
that's
we're-
scary for your
yeah.
dad to put
Yeah.
that label on you. You're like an animal.
Yeah.
And it's when I think about that too, you're attacking what he says because you're waiting for me to say something and then attack me for what I said. I mean, that's
Yeah.
more of an attack of an argument.
Yeah. And he attacked me.
I think he knows he cannot win a real argument with you. I mean, I
Yeah,
did notice that
too
he
powerful.
ignored. Yeah, but
No,
knowledge is power.
yeah.
Christy, knowledge is power, and
Yeah.
you have more knowledge.
On this
Eh,
this topic, I
Yeah,
for sure do.
and also even about your grandpa, where he was like, "Oh, grandpa, on your other side, your maternal
he
grandpa."
was saying that he wasn't in World War II, and I was like, yes, he was, and I had to show him his headstone that said it, and I was like,
Yeah, and then I never saw him say anything. But anyway, you're saying, well, he doesn't know he's racist, but he definitely knows he's homophobic and he's transphobic, or I don't even know if the word's phobic. Is phobic not the same as hate? What's the word for hate?
It is phobic, though. He is afraid. He won't say that, but that is, they just don't, like the thing that when we talked 2 days ago for 2 hours, I was screaming outside of a coffee shop on my phone. But the thing that I kept asking was, do you know a trans person? Do you know, who was the other thing?
Oh, it was a Muslim. You were like, do you know a Muslim?
I said, do you know Muslim?
Because he's talking about Obama
Yep.
as wanting to let the Muslims take over. And
Yes,
it's like,
he let
not all
in-
Muslims are trying to take over. There are
Right.
extremists in any religion, of
Right.
course. But
Right.
oh my gosh. So
Do you know how hard me and my dad have never even left the state. Do you know how hard it is to leave the country? Do you know how badly you want to be in America and how much you love America to want to come to America? Like, that is so hard.
it's very, yep.
Yeah.
It's a not an easy journey.
Yes.
Well, was there ever a laugh? Like, do your dad and you laugh together? Do you guys ever laugh together? Was there ever a shared laugh or anything? Back to the traumedy theme, was there anything that helped you with your dad that you could laugh together about or laugh at yourselves? Or, I don't know. Is that a thing with your dad? Does he have a sense of humor?
I think that he used. I feel like he used to, and then things are angry. It's constant anger. I don't even remember what it was. I don't think that we're like a super funny family. We are German as hell, and
but that's just not part of it.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it wasn't.
But you
yeah.
laughed with me about it, so that was good.
Sure.
I mean, you
yes.
did.
And I mean, we got we were best friends. Me and my dad were best friends. We were, and I would go tell him anything. I could be honest tell him anything, and we knew each other really well back in the day. And now I'm frustrated because it's like I felt like I was encouraged to go to college.
Yeah.
And like get an education, and now that has made me the enemy. And he even said like I was, pretty much radicalized in the liberal hotbed of Greeley, Colorado, the most
Big ag.
conservative place. They wanted to secede from Colorado and join Wyoming because they don't want to be too liberal. And yet I went to the most like.
You went to an ag school.
I went to this like cowtown school, and he's saying, and I'm like, no, I just learned other perspectives other than my own. Yeah. And comedy, because we know so many different perspectives, again, makes you know up close and personal. And that's the part that I always love. That's why I even went, because I'm not a good student, actually, which is hilarious. I'm a great teacher, terrible student. The only reason I could go is because it was just listening to stories. And I love the actual everyday person's. I don't want to hear about George Washington. I want to hear about the
individual soldier.
That's my. That is my. I love that stuff. I want to hear about their day-to-day thing, and I do think that's why social media is so fascinating, is because we are able to get people who are individual stories and in the streets, and they're going around the traditional news media and making their own. I mean, you have, but you do have to gather. It is data collection, and you have to gather a lot of stories, and then you compile all that, and you use your
synthesize it,
and
deduce and draw some.
I can't write a paper saying, I can't write a paper about how, they wanted to censor everything in Tudor England to just praise the king, and just be like, see, here's this one person that said that.
Yeah.
And it's called that a whole paper. It's like you have to have, primary. It's like I want to be like primary resource document after primary resource document after primary resource document. Like it has to be. They were there.
Yeah, evidence based.
Yeah.
Okay, thinking about you being a teacher. Remember, joke mentor. So I'm just going to ask you right now: is there anything in that conversation with your dad that you could? What is there a fresh bit coming about that conversation?
Yeah.
That
so
wants
there's
to,
a couple.
A little trauma.
I mean, I was already working on something, but this is obviously gonna just go into it a little bit further. But I was saying that I miss when Republicans were autistic, because they were so the Constitution, whatever the Constitution says. And I think there's nothing more autistic than somebody who's like, sorry, the paper says we can't do it.
The
so
letter of the law versus
yes.
the spirit of the law.
Yes.
The letter of the law. This is the rigidity of it. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, not about due process. And they're like, no, it absolutely says about if you are on this soil, you are entitled to due process, whether you're a citizen or not. Yep. And it's in there.
And
I mean, I've read just enough of it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I'm stepping on your joke.
No, it's okay. But no, that was just, that was it. And I was saying how I want them to be like, I don't want my branches of government touching. I don't want them I don't like it when they touch.
Or church and state.
Yeah. I don't want to keep them separate.
Keep church and state separate, and the executive branch, judicial branch.
Oh my God, the executive, the president
branch.
is too loud. It's too loud. He's talking too loud. If he could just be quiet, that'd be so good. But no, they're probably just going to get back into autism with trains again, which is a Holocaust bit.
Oh, that went over my head.
But
oh my God.
And then and then the only other time you get to see him go back to autism is when somebody gets assassinated and they're like, no, I've shot that gun 500 times at 200 yards. That caliber bullet is going to make a 3-inch hole in a neck. And that was that's what I did. And they loved it in Fort Collins. They really gave me a applause break on that. So, but I think that's part of republicanism is I could really understand that. It's and it was meant to, they're called conservative, not because of their conservative biblical beliefs. They were called conservative because they wanted change to happen so slow. They were conservative about how quickly we change anything. And they wanted all those checks and balances to come into play in order to not have a volatile government. And our government was designed to move slowly so that we're not constantly pendulum swinging and with the economy and doing that. Conservative means they are conservative for government overreach. They think they want to keep government small, and that's what that traditionally.
Ironically, as they're stepping into women's body autonomy,
and they were so good until really the Baptists really got into it to really make this a theocracy. Until then, they were so good about separation of church and state, and then Christian nationalism is awful. Is really bad. And those two things just don't even go. So this is what I was thinking when I was in the elevator leaving today, I was just thinking, I'm not religious anymore. I don't believe in the Bible. However, these people are quoting the Bible, and so I'm thinking, I feel more religious because you guys are doing this over man-made borders, rules, laws.
Nothing to do with the spirit of Jesus.
Yeah, but these are all man-made. And your Bible, your book says right there, anything man does is drenched in sin and imperfect. And you are more interested in defending this man-made construct of our borders or our country or our flag than you are about a God-made person.
Yeah. And our gender is a social
if that's what you believe.
Gender's social construct.
Yeah.
That
Well,
is
God,
man-made.
I really tried to explain the difference between sex and gender, and that was
To your dad.
that was too big.
That was too big. Man, the message here is even with someone you know so well, who you love, you could not move him an inch. And in fact, it seems like he just dug his heels in deeper from what I heard.
Yeah.
And also you ended up getting more information than maybe you wanted.
Oh, God.
Because it's like, dang it. That now I can't
Yeah,
even pretend.
I know. That's
now
what
I
we were
can't even
talking
have
about,
the
like,
illusion that my dad.
My best trauma response is hope, and our trauma therapist has told us is that when your needs are not met as a child, you get so good at hoping and seeing people for the potential that hopefully they will care. Hopefully they will show up for me. Hopefully it will be different. And you get so good at that muscle that you're able to see the potential in literally anything. And it makes me a great teacher. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I'm a great teacher because I see the potential in
all of
everybody.
your-
And I'm thinking, like, I'm always looking at where's the next step. What's the next step to improve to get them? Small step. Don't think about the end goal. Like, what's the next thing? What do they need to work on? And it makes me a great teacher. I pick terrible romantic partners.
Or having a good boundary of like,
Right.
that person's not for me.
Yeah.
That's where I am right now. Of course, I'm in a different place in my
I can't
life.
have that boundary
And
either. I'm like, oh, they don't like me. I can just slowly change it.
now, that being said, what about being part of the resistance? Like, you had a story regarding being part of the resistance. I would love to hear, have there been any success stories of being part of the resistance?
Right.
And how can I be effective? Like, from what you've learned, obviously my job as a clown, I am on stage all the time. And my message, and I'm going to tell you what my message is, and I know you already know it, but I'm going to say it because I really do believe, like the Bible says, love thy neighbor as thyself. And I am just coming to reality like, oh, the reason we don't love our neighbors is because we do not love ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And so if we really did work, that what I'm doing in this trauma therapy is finally loving myself for the first time in my life. And now I do have the capacity to love my neighbor and everyone. So that's what I feel like the real work, the real activism would be to love yourself deeply and integrate your shadow, integrate those exiled parts, because then you won't project them out onto the orange overlord or ICE or anybody else.
My extension of loving yourself is loving yourself so much that you tell your story and tell your beliefs and tell your stuff.
Speak your authentic truth.
Yes. And that's like my whole job is helping people just be authentic and be not afraid to be themselves.
I know.
And so that to me is mine to do. Like we were saying, what's mine to do? Mine is to, say things and remind people that, this is wrong and I'm going to speak up. I'm not going to be at the protests because if shit goes down, I can't run. I can't get away.
Yeah.
But like I am here to remind people that like this is not okay. Do not let them desensitize you to this violence. Like this is not patriotic. This is not that. Like my job is to go, we've seen this before. Please listen. Like that is my job. Right.
Okay.
So, and you asked me like when, what did they have? And so, we were talking about Sophie Scholl and, I love her. I have a painting of her up on my wall. I think she's amazing. She's a hero in Germany now. And she
from World War II.
From World War II, and they were students. They were in college.
She was a kid. She was
21.
Yeah, 21.
She's 21,
Okay.
20, maybe almost 20. Maybe I think she was only 21. I think But
my son's age, 21.
Yeah, she's 21, and her and her brother were in this this organization called the White Rose, which was supposed to kind of mean like, purity, and we're not evil and the opposite of evil, essentially. But they were just literally printing pamphlets that said, this is wrong. This is evil. This isn't okay. And there was not many. Is a very small group, but they actually would go up and take trains up to different cities and drop it because they wanted to make it seem like their movement was even bigger than it actually was.
They took trains all around, distributed pamphlets, the White Rose.
That said the White Rose, and that said, that just said this: the Fuhrer is wrong. This is evil. This isn't okay. And they actually. Maybe that's why I like it too. Speaking of, is that their dad was actually like a mayor of a town in the Weimar Republic, which is the democracy that was between World War I and World War II. Okay, and that's what Hitler slowly dismantled, but a lot quicker than you would think. We're seeing it right now, anyways. But they just as kids were joining Hitler Youth because it was just what you did, and they were like, "Oh, Boy Scouts, let's go camping," and they didn't know. And then their dad was like,
"That's that grooming you're talking about,
right?" And then their dad was like, "No, this is not like." He actually was not. He was so against National Social, not the Nazis, and he was like, "No," and like told him to think. And then and they just wanted to go hang out with their
Sophie's
friends.
dad, and she had siblings.
And
her brother.
Yeah. Her brother, Hans, and her are the two that were in the group.
The White Rose.
Yep. And then there was a couple others, as well as Sophie's boyfriend, Franz, was actually on the front. So they heard about everything what was going on because of him. Because he came back from the front and would be like, this is what's actually going on.
Okay.
And so, and their dad was in support of them speaking up and using their voice. And they got caught. And because she had privilege, they were an upper middle class family. The guy really wanted her to be like, no, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't,
The guy being like a Gestapo guy?
Yeah, like the guy that interrogated her and stuff.
Okay.
He really did want her to sort of...
he gave her an out. He gave her an out.
Yeah, and she was like,
he's like, just say you didn't mean it.
Yeah, or that you didn't know, or you were being coerced by your brother.
Go on
whatever.
Go on record as this isn't really.
And her brother also was like, I consider him like a gay. He was gay, and he had one of his partners is who outed him to the SS to save himself. So, but she. I guess I think I like her because when I look at her reading, I'm like, oh, this woman is autistic in the way that she was like.
Oh, you read something that was so beautiful that she wrote.
It was just so clear that she didn't. When she didn't know, but it wasn't like a gradual walking away from Hitler Youth and the idea of it. It was like once she saw it, she couldn't unsee it, and the doors there's no going back. There's no faking it. There's no. She can't even pretend to be on board to save her life, which is something I just relate to so much. But I cannot lie. I can't lie when I think something. If I don't even like you, I can't even lie. I'm really bad at not showing it on my face or whatever, So that's something that she was like, she stood by it even though she knows you're going to be killed. And she was so composed until after her sentencing, and her parents did get to come see her, and her dad it was weird feeling because obviously her dad is so sad that he's about to lose two of his children, but also so much pride that they did the right thing. And maybe that's, I'm going to cry. Okay. That's what they wanted is I would literally die and be so much happier if my dad was proud of what I was.
Yeah, your dad's proud of you
doing
and standing up for what's right.
Yeah. And that's the hardest part is you think I want to be at odds with you. You think I'm actively choosing this and being ignorant. I don't want to. I don't want to be separated from my family. I don't want to have this big.
You don't want to be the
rift.
outsider.
And I am a teacher, and I am a historian. Trust me, I'm looking for whatever you're saying is.
You'd love it
if I could agree.
You could find a common ground. Yeah.
Right. And so that part was. She only cried right after her parents left, and he was so impressed with this 21-year-old woman that was basically like, no, fuck you. You guys are wrong. And I will not change it to save my own ass. She was just like that. I'll read the thing that I just fuck.
Yeah.
She's an amazing writer.
So she stood up to them and sacrificed her life.
Yeah. And they also got rid of due process. I think it was like 3 days between the day they were arrested and
executed.
Like that's not like that is not. So this was her biggest thing as she goes, the real damage is done by those millions who want to survive. The honest men who just want little lives disturbed by anything bigger than themselves. Those with no sides and no causes. Those who don't take measure of their own strength for fear of antagonizing their own weakness. Those who don't like to make waves or enemies. Those for whom freedom, honor, truth, and principles are only literature. Those who live small, mate small, die small. It's the reductionist approach to life. If you keep it small, you'll keep it under control. If you don't make any noise, the boogeyman won't find you. But it's all an illusion because they die too. Those people who roll up their spirits into tiny little balls so as to be safe. Safe from what? Life is always on the edge of death. Narrow streets lead to the same place as wide avenues, and a little candle burns itself out just like a flaming torch does. I choose my own way to burn.
Beautiful. Wow, I got goosebumps.
I know.
I felt her spirit here.
Yeah.
So
it's like,
let her inspire us
Yeah.
to stand up for what is right, whatever our role is.
Yeah.
To be on the right side of history,
say that they're
to trust your conscience.
Extremists, they can say that that's just...
they labeled Renee Good a terrorist.
Yeah. Because they passed... because that's what it even goes back to 9/11. It's like you can use appropriate force against a terrorist.
She was executed and now she is a hero in Germany.
Yeah, there's like schools named after her. There's different stuff named after her. And yeah, and it's just, they were already going down by this time. It was like near the end. So it's like, the sad part is like, does she even need, but I think, yeah, she has impact. Much prouder, even till today, to even just look at, what she does and stuff. And it might even have bigger impact on this situation than others for people who do know who that is and do study this kind of thing. But this is totally my ADHD is gonna kick in. But this was the other fascinating thing that I found out, which is so interesting. The guy that was that operated the guillotine that killed her. He dropped the guillotine on thousands of people, but then once they did the Nuremberg trials, he also dropped it on 159 Nazis.
Oh.
And then in the 70s, he spoke out.
After Nuremberg trials,
Yes,
the people that were found guilty.
He killed them.
He
operated the guillotine for them.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then he still came out in like the 70s and spoke out against the death penalty, even though I was like, what?
That guy. I was just trying to imagine his nightmares.
Yeah. Yeah, his nightmares got to be
awful.
But I also just think about the people who, since this is a trauma thing, I do look at, I look at everything. I'm not looking at like good and evil. I am looking at what are people doing, like what people are afraid, and they are doing what they do to survive.
Yeah.
Whether they are trying to survive, have their belief system survive this, if they are trying to have their actual life survive this, their livelihood survive this. This is all a trauma response, all of it. And I just think because we got into like the fact that there are so many brown people that are on ice and being ice, and that's harder in my, but I also think of it as like, I look at it as like there was also a lot of slaves that fought for the South. And it's like when you have disenfranchised a group, they don't have the luxury of taking a stand the way that we do as white people with privilege. They are here to, they are making a choice to survive. Not that they don't really believe in what they're doing, but like they have less to work with as far as like what we're doing. And I wouldn't have any allegiance to any country that treats me as a second class citizen anyways. Like, why would you got to just survive? But I am looking at everything as, again, I'm not saying you're a bad person, and that's the hard part, is that my dad is saying you're a bad person. That's wrong. You're evil. And I'm not even looking at him like you're evil. I'm going, oh, you are scared. What is your trauma? I'm literally going, what's your trauma response? You're afraid you're going to lose everything that you have to people of color. They truly believe they're in danger. And that's how fascism wins, is they hit your amygdala constantly. They're flooding your amygdala with fear.
Threat.
Demagoguery. And then you literally cognitively cannot think about empathy or it takes your frontal lobe offline.
Yeah, you go into fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Yeah, so you're not operating with critical thinking. So that's why
I'm like, I'm not looking at my dad like, oh, you're an awful person. I'm thinking you are in a trauma. You are consuming media that's putting you in a constant trauma response.
Yeah.
And it's
so the best, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
I think that the best thing that we can all do is A, use our voice, but B, is to create feelings of safety for everyone we can, ourselves and everyone we can.
Yeah.
Yes, even Nazis. I'm not saying if they're not hurting anybody, because they will if they want to deconstruct, they have to feel safe enough to let go of that belief system. That feeling of safety
but this is
everything.
But let's face it, we've all, for those of us who have survived some scary things in life, that especially in a caregiver or somebody's in a position of power, and in this country now, the power. So that feels like a fawn response to me, where it's like, I want you to feel safe so you don't attack me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make sure you don't feel like I'm threatening you. And there is a part of me that I don't know if that's a fawn response saying, hey, if you love yourself, you're going to be able to love everyone else. Mm-hmm. I just would love it. I would love it if we all loved ourselves.
I'm saying creating, yes, you can create feelings of safety, but it's like you are inviting them into a safe, like you're creating a safe environment for yourself, number one, and you got to just invite them into that feeling anytime they want to join. It's the same way as like trying to get an alcoholic to drink. You got to quit drinking to just be the example of like, oh, you wouldn't have to be afraid of every person that doesn't look like you on the street if you want to. There's a different option. Like, it is just about modeling like a different way.
I do love seeing in Minnesota, I'm seeing some of those reels where they're singing these beautiful songs to their neighbors who are trapped in their houses. I'm loving those kind of responses, although I don't know. I don't want to pretend to know the answer. I'm just saying.
With movements, there's people that have to be in the system and outside the system.
Yeah.
That make changes.
And in the meantime, do not forget the sense of humor. Like, seriously, it helps me. It gives me relief. Like, just to take that little perspective, even if it's a joke about suicide, like you just did, like just something.
That's my own way to burn. Yeah.
Gives you a sense of empowerment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that it's like, okay. Or, just like, what is that movie? A Beautiful Life. No.
Life is Beautiful?
Life is Beautiful. Yeah. Like finding, even when I do these talks about therapeutic humor, these guys that were in camps in Vietnam, Captain Coffee, he like wrote a little joke under, like where they would take a shower, he would write a little joke under the thing, like, smile, you're on candid camera.
Yep. Like
little inside jokes like that. Even the people in the Holocaust, the guy who, Daniel Lubetzky, who was the founder of Kind Bars. His dad, he said he wouldn't be here without humor because his father could make the guards laugh. And therefore, that guard risked his own life to smuggle a potato into them to survive. So it's like you keep using humor. I do think there's a way that humor can help break down or open our hearts or something. But even if it's just unilaterally, even if it's just about you surviving,
I mean, yeah, you do. I mean, the sad part is that joke about I know where my mouth is really comes from actually the big Goring, Hermann Goring, who was a Nazi, who he was like the biggest narcissist of them all. They were going to hang them, and he thought that his own ego could not allow him to be hung. Like he was like, if you guys shoot me, that is a
more dignified
way. Right. So because they were going to hang him, he got a cyanide pill and killed himself before they could kill him. So that joke kind of comes from that.
Taking control of your own
person.
Death. Yeah. Well, so yeah, in closing, listen, if you need a laugh, check out a comedy show. I'm doing 2 shows this week in the Colorado area. I'll be headlining at Louisville Underground on Wednesday. I think it's 4 shows at Looney's in Colorado Springs. Come out to a show. Follow Christie. What's your Instagram?
The Joke Mentor.
The Joke Mentor.
And I'll be at the Comic Sense next weekend.
Comic Sense here in Boulder? Oh, cool.
29, 30, 31, I think. Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh, cool. I didn't know you were going to come back to Boulder. All right. We got more Scrabble. And play some games. We're playing Scrabble.
Yeah, I'm about to beat Nancy.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Probably.
She's better. She is.
I don't know.
I get lucky, though.
Just this game. We'll see. I'm just ahead.
You are way ahead.
I need this emotionally. So.
I'm not going to throw it, though.
I know you won't.
I will not.
That's why we do it.
All right. Thanks, Christie.
Thanks.
I'd like to thank my guest, Christie Buchele. I'll put a link in the show notes. Follow her on Instagram, The Joke Mentor, and I'll put links to Sophie Scholl and other things we mentioned on the podcast in the show notes. Let me know if you have a story to share, or you need some support, or you have some inspiration about dealing with these difficult times right now, as our country is so divided and frankly frightening for many of us. So I would love it if you have anything you want to share with me, and thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of the Traumedy community. I do feel this back and forth energy of support, and let's raise the frequency. I know, I think this episode, I get that it was a little intense, but it's intense right now. I can't pretend. And yes, I really am thinking about all different kinds of things, like, okay, I got to raise the frequency with laughter, but also keep my passport active. Do I want to go to Belize? Do I want to go to British Columbia? What are you doing? How are you coping? Let me know. And I mean, God, I have to laugh, or really, it's overwhelming. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to get angry. There is justified rage right now. And so let your feelings move is all I'm trying to say, is don't let them get stuck. I think humor is one of the best ways to acknowledge some of the hardest feelings and let them move. So remember, no matter what, keep laughing.